In this video, we're going to cover setting up your Zoom settings. The first step is to open up your Chrome browser and navigate to zoom.us, and then click the sign in button on the top right. Scroll down and click sign in with Google. Please do that with your work account. And now we're going to be looking over here at personal and meetings by default, but we're going to go down 3 and click on settings. Now these are merely suggestions for your settings, so please set it up and play with it and practice with it and get what works for you and your students. So by default, I'm going to go ahead and leave the host and participant video off. For the audio type, I am going to choose to have telephone and computer audio. Strongly suggest on this one that you leave that one checked. Now joining before the host, I'm going to leave that unchecked because I don't want my students to join before I am in the room with them. And then scrolling down here, I'm going to choose to embed the password in the meeting link for the one-click join. So let's go ahead and leave that checked. Now, muting participants upon entry, I'm going to go ahead and leave that checked so that when they come into the room, they're going to be muted, and then they can unmute themselves, and you can also unmute them from your host controls. Continuing down, I'm going to leave chat enabled, but I am going to turn off the private chat. That will help eliminate any issues between students being off task and chatting, at least within the Zoom app itself. I'm also going to turn on auto saving chats so that if I need to, I can go back and look at the chats. Playing a sound when participants join or leave, that can help you know when someone is joining or leaving. It can also be a little distracting, so if you turn that on, I'm going to leave it heard by the host only, and then I'm going to click save. You can always come back and change any of these settings that don't work for you. I'm going to leave the feedback, the Zoom turned off, and the feedback survey at the end. Now, allowing the host to put attendee on hold, that's going to allow you to remove an attendee from the meeting. So that's a good thing to have the ability to do. So I'm going to go ahead and check that just in case. I'm also, this is an important one, always show the meeting control toolbar. Let's go ahead and get that checked, and that will help out. And I'll show that to you in a later video. Showing the Zoom windows during the screen share. I'm going to go ahead and check that. And then screen sharing. So who can share? Now you can choose to just allow yourself, or you can let your participants do that, and then you are the one that has to give permission. So who can start sharing when someone else is sharing? So you can be the one, if you're sharing your screen, no one's going to be able to take that over from you. But you might want to leave that as host only if that's what's best for you. So I'm going to go ahead and click save here. And for now, I'll leave that as host only. Disable desktop screen share for users. That just means that they would be able to share everything on their desktop. So that's really up to you. I'm going to go ahead and check it. Annotation, that's a feature that you can allow your students to have, and also you can have, where they can annotate on the screen. They can type text, put stamps, and draw and whatnot on there. You can also choose to have the whiteboard on there. When someone does a screen share, that person can choose to have a whiteboard, or you as the host can choose, and then you can also auto save that content. So I'm going to click that. Now these are both able to be abused, so that's really up to you on how you want to let that stand, and you can make those changes as needed also. Same for the screen sharing up here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the remote control. That just means that someone could actually ask for permission to take over another person's screen while they are sharing. Allowing remove participants to rejoin. We checked that up above where you could remove participants. So I'm going to go ahead and not leave that checked. We're going to take that, I'll make sure that's off, so that if you have to remove someone, they're not going to be able to rejoin that meeting. Breakout rooms, I'm going to go ahead and leave that unchecked. What that would allow you to do, if you did check that, would be to put students into breakout rooms with each other to collaborate and whatnot, and then you could bounce into the rooms as you saw fit. But for now, let's go ahead and leave that unchecked. These next few, I'm going to go ahead and leave unchecked. Virtual background. This, actually, I just heard someone else talking about virtual backgrounds where students had actually recorded themselves and then put that video on a loop in their virtual background so that it looked like they were actually in front of the Zoom call when actually they were not. So this could be something that could be problematic, so that's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. It can be really cool what you put back there also. So, you know, that's totally up to you on how you choose to do that. Identifying the guest participants. So if you are having your students log in to their accounts before they join, then this could be useful. But for the most part, we are not doing that right now, so it's totally up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and check that. The auto answering and these right here aren't going to really affect us. I'm going to leave that those unchecked. Now this is an important one. So with all the Zoom trolling and Hangouts trolling and all that kind of stuff, what you can do is you can have a procedure for naming with your students. And with that, you can turn on the waiting room, and then you have to manually let them into your Zoom call before they can interact with anybody else. So this can be distracting if you have people coming in late and you're in the middle of talking and whatnot, and then you need to go enable them to come into the meeting. But this can also really help out with not letting anybody into your Zoom call that should not be there. So I'm going to go ahead and check that. Show a join from browser link. This can be useful if for some reason they are unable to download the Zoom application. Then this will actually allow them to join from their browser. They won't have as many bells and whistles if they had the app installed, but they still will be able to get into the meetings. Email notifications, totally up to y'all. And then blurring the snapshot, I'm going to go ahead and turn that on, and that's only for iOS devices. So there's not really too much down here. So I'm going to continue back up to the top. And at the top of the settings, you have this tab that says recording. And this is an important one. I'm going to go ahead and click on this recording. And we do not have the ability right now to record into the cloud, but you can do local recording. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that checked. And what that means is that will, if I choose, record the meeting locally on my device. And then I could upload that into the Google Drive or up into YouTube and make that available for watching for anybody that had missed the direct teach portion of the class. You can choose to have automatic recording on so that you know that as soon as you start the meeting that it is going to be recorded, and then by default it's going to be on record on the local computer. So I'm going to leave that checked also, but again, that is up to you and your campus as to how y'all are doing that for now. Recording disclaimer, this is going to just let participants know that everything that they are doing and everybody is doing on there is being recorded. You could ask the host to confirm before starting a recording, or we can leave these unchecked and click save. So it's a good idea to let everybody know that they are being recorded. So click save. And this last one, multiple audio notifications of a recorded meeting. This will just continue to let people know whenever recording is starting or restarting that the meeting is being recorded. Okay, well, that is the settings in Zoom, or suggested settings, I should say. The best thing I can suggest that you do is to go practice. And I've done that a number of times with starting a Zoom meeting between my phone and my computer and just kind of playing around with it and finding what works for me. So I hope you enjoyed this and got something out of it, and we will be having some more recordings about other stuff within the Zoom real soon. So have a great day, and thank you for watching.